Oh, conventions, how we've missed you. But what I don't think anyone has missed were con flags. You're finishing your prep for the con, you're at the convention, and then a couple days later, you're laid up in bed with the sniffles and coughs. But in the world right now, we're at a much higher risk. We all want something really fun to be able to look forward to, but we really have to be safe while doing it. So I figured I'd put together a couple of tips on how to stay safe before, during, and after a convention. Disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional, these are just things that I've found out through research and things I find effective for myself. A lot of these tips will be for general con safety and health, but a lot of them will also have to do with staying safe during the COVID-19 epidemic. It's something we'll be dealing with for a long time, so we might as well try to find something to work with it. The first thing you should do before you even consider going to a convention is looking at the policies that they have for safety. Not all conventions are going to be safe. Many of us remember the days of returning home from a very packed convention, only to find out our friends and any extended friend groups all have the same flu. But right now, that's really not something that we can risk. Before you even decide that you're going to attempt a convention, make sure that they have some good policies in place for people's safety. This would be things such as requiring masks, requiring vaccinations, and/or requiring negative test results. If the convention has nothing in place, there's a very high chance you probably won't be leaving in your best health. The next tip on the list is to get some real sleep. I am no stranger to pulling all-nighters in the name of Con Crunch. Whatever the reason may be, we always find ourselves up for extended hours leading into a convention. Between anxiety and excitement, I know it's hard to get sleep, but you really need to. At least 5 hours of sleep will make a world of difference. A lack of sleep leads to a weakened immune system, which puts you in danger before you've even gotten to the convention. A lack of sleep will also ruin your focus, which will lead to some cosplay errors. It is not fun to pick and resew the same incorrect scene 3 times in a row. The next tip is to eat some proper meals. Just like a lack of sleep, not eating will weaken your body and ruin your focus. And as funny as it is, no, coffee and energy drinks do not count as a proper meal. Excitement and anxiety can easily get the better of you and make you think you're not hungry, but you should try to push yourself to eat a little something. Get breakfast in before you start your work, and dinner sometime later in the day, at least. Sometimes I'll even set reminders and timers for myself. It is so easy to get into the groove of your work and then realize you haven't eaten in several hours. The next tip is to take showers. You need to make sure that you're cleaning yourself up. Showering removes dirt and bacteria from your body to keep you healthy. It'll also keep your pores clear so you have no breakouts before the convention. A warmer shower will also help to relax your muscles so you can avoid injury after you've been sitting sealing the seams of your armor for hours. You don't need to get crazy and smell like a field of flowers or mountain clarity, whatever. Please don't be the stinky con goer everyone avoids. Plus, stepping away from your work will probably help to work out a few malfunctions. My next tip, if you're able, is to take some of the immune supplements you can find at any drugstore. Even before COVID, I liked to take Emergency or Emergency Immune Plus before I went to any con or LARP. It's an extra little boost if I have any problems with the previously mentioned tips. I usually start to take them the day before I leave for my trip, and then afterwards I'll try to take it every morning or every other morning while I'm at the event. The flavors aren't always good, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. The next tip I have is to schedule a COVID test ahead of time. There could be a rise in scheduling during the weekend, so you want to make sure that you have your appointment secured. If you know for sure that you're going to a convention, make sure that you schedule your appointment 3 to 5 days after the last day that you are at the convention. Going immediately after you get home may risk that you won't catch the virus if you've had a later exposure. In the days leading to that appointment, make sure you isolate as much as possible. Assume you're positive until safely proven otherwise. A lot of cons are looking for a negative test before you even get there, which is a great thing. And if you'd like to go the extra mile and you're able, get a few at-home tests to do in the hotel room each morning. The next tip is required at most conventions right now, but it is to keep your mask on at all times. This one is pretty self-explanatory. The current variant of COVID that we are fighting is the super contagious Omicron variant. This virus is primarily transmitted through the air, so keeping your nose and mouth covered at all times is imperative. This means even walking to or from the convention center. Even though most people think that having them off outside will avoid problems, you really shouldn't risk it. Unless you are entirely alone or with just your hotel roommates outside, keep your mask on. And take some extra time to make your mask match your cosplay. It'll make you feel a whole lot better. The next tip is to avoid going out to eat. It is so much fun to go out to a nearby restaurant in full cosplay to celebrate a great convention. But now is not the time for that. You could bring your own food to the convention, you can go to a nearby store and pick something up to make in your hotel room, or you can do a takeout order. At least for right now, it'll be a whole lot safer. And cheaper, considering a lot of con food can be expensive. Make it something fun for you and your roommates to have a little family dinner together. My next tip is to bring some gloves to the dealer's room and artist alley. These are some of the busiest places at any convention. Even when they're moving, they are extremely packed. The items that you're looking at were probably picked up and looked at by a whole bunch of other con goers. A lot of artists and merchants may ask people not to pick up any of their items, which is perfectly fine. But for those who don't, you should keep yourself safe from other people's germs. And to go along with that, keep hand sanitizer on you at all times. While it isn't better than washing your hands, hand sanitizer can be very helpful in a pinch. Sanitizers with 60% alcohol are usually the ones most recommended. Try not to overuse them as they could dry out your hands. And at the end of the day, please make sure you're washing your hands properly with soap and warm water. Next tip I have is to try and limit your exposure at the convention center. As I have said multiple times over, conventions are packed. Being sardined in a hallway leading to your favorite voice actor's panel may not be the most fun. While I'm sure most of us want to spend optimal time experiencing the convention hall all day, it isn't the safest. Being around other people, even for a few minutes, raises your risk of catching even a common cold. The less time you spend around strangers at the moment, the better. Talk with your friends and roommates to find some other fun things that you guys can do away from all of the crowds. After everything is said and done, give yourself at least a day to rest. If you're able, take the next day off of work. Let your body and mind catch up to not being in the thrill of a convention. And take this time to catch up on all the sleep you definitely missed while you were at the con. Let yourself be lazy and don't unpack that suitcase immediately. Revel in the fun memories that you made while you were there. Maybe take a little bit of that emergency that I mentioned, and take a nice shower to really relax. If not all of these things are probable for you to do, at least find something to let yourself readjust to not being there. The sadness of post-con depression definitely affects your health as well. In the end, if you're really worried, just don't go to the convention. If you don't feel well especially, and if you don't feel safe, don't attend. There will always be more conventions. There will be more opportunities. And don't let others make you feel bad for not going. It will never be worth it to put yourself and others at risk just to go to a convention for a weekend. We need to keep our community safe so we can keep having fun. Those are all the tips that I can think of to keep you safe before, during, and after a convention. If you can think of any other tips, please leave them down in the comments below. And if you'd like, please subscribe as well. Hope to see you next time. Bye! This is what happens when you forget to write all of your scripts beforehand, and now you're sitting writing your scripts while this camera is pointed at you the entire time. Leave me alone.